हेलो फ्रेंड्स, आज हम लोग फिर से कंपास सर्वे लेकर आए हैं जिसमें हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे बियरिंग क्या होता है और फिर टाइप्स ऑफ बियरिंग क्या होता है और कुछ ऐसे बियरिंग्स है जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल होल सर्कल बियरिंग, क्वाड्रेंटल बियरिंग, फोर बियरिंग, बैक बियरिंग एंड लास्ट द क्वेश्चंस ऑन बियरिंग दैट विल बी अकॉर्डिंग टू द क्वेश्चन सिचुएशन आई विल जस्ट डिस्कस. सो विदाउट वेस्टिंग टाइम चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं. तो आज हम लोग सिर्फ डिस्कस करेंगे होल सर्कल बियरिंग that is also called azimuthal system, and the next is the quadrantal bearing that is also called the reduced bearing. So इन दोनों को आज डिस्कस करेंगे. उससे पहले हम लोग जान लेते हैं कि बियरिंग होता क्या है. इट इज नथिंग फ्रेंड्स, इट्स द हॉरिजॉन्टल एंगल बिटवीन द फिक्स्ड रेफरेंस एंड द सर्वे लाइन. जो सर्वे लाइन होता है और जो रेफरेंस हम लेते हैं उसके बीच का जो एंगल होता है उसको हम लोग बियरिंग बोलते हैं. एंड द हॉरिजॉन्टल एंगल इज ऑलवेज रेफर्ड. सो आई थिंक यू माइट हैव अंडरस्टूड व्हाट इज बियरिंग and definition of bearing. So we will start now. Whole circle bearing and quadrantal bearing, one by one we will discuss about these 2 points, and we will discuss how to convert whole circle bearing to quadrantal bearing and quadrantal bearing to the whole circle bearing, and we will sum up by learning these 2 points and about the properties of these 2 points. And in the next class we will discuss fore bearing, back bearing and true bearing, magnetic bearing and all the rest, grid bearing and arbitrary bearing. So let us start with whole circle bearing. What is whole circle bearing or the azimuthal system? I will suggest you that you should remember the line azimuthal system. It may be asked in your mid-term or the semester exam. That is, whole circle bearing is also called azimuthal system. So we will discuss point by point in the whole circle bearing. It is the horizontal angle between the survey line and the north end of the reference meridian, and that is in the clockwise direction. So from this definition I have brought out 4-5 points regarding the whole circle bearing. First of all, it is horizontal angle. You know very well what is horizontal angle. Now it is between the reference meridian, that is only north, and the surface line. What it is between this whole circle bearing is taken between reference meridian, that is north, and the survey line. Now I think that there is no problem in understanding this line. So next is the clockwise direction. Here the whole circle bearing is always taken in clockwise direction. In the direction of clock rotation it is always taken. So, and the next point is that it is taken from the north. It is always taken from the north direction. If you take from another direction like south, then it will be wrong. It will be wrong. So guys, and now if I talk about its range, then it is between 0 degree to 360 degree. It means that it can be 30 degree, it can be 120 degree, it can be 180 degree. Whatever range will it can take, that will be from 0 degree to 360 degree. So once again I want to discuss what it is. An horizontal angle, and it is between the reference meridian, that is your north, and the survey line, and its rotation is clockwise. It means that it starts rotating, it starts making from north direction and it goes on clockwise direction, and it is from 0 degree to 360 degree. So I think that you have understood that what is whole circle bearing, that is also known as azimuthal system. Friends, we will discuss quadrantal bearing. In short, it is written QB, and it is also called reduced bearing. I have forgot to write this, so I will write reduced bearing. Reduced bearing. It is also called reduced bearing or RB. So now I will define and know about the points of quadrantal bearing, and then we will make the difference between whole circle bearing and quadrantal bearing. What are the differences we will discuss. Okay, so now first of all we have to know that what is quadrantal bearing. It is an acute angle between reference meridian, and the reference meridian here is north or south. In whole circle bearing we discussed that reference meridian is only your north. It was only your north. But in the quadrantal bearing, your reference meridian is reference direction is north or south, and it is between the reference meridian and survey line. Now as we talk about the range, or what can you can say that, yeah, it is the range. So range is between 0 degree to 90 degree, and it is an acute horizontal angle. That was the horizontal angle. What? Your whole circle bearing was an horizontal angle that was from 0 degree to 360 degree, but it is an acute horizontal angle that is between 0 degree to 90 degree. So now what is, yeah, that quadrantal bearing is from the reference direction, that is north or south, and the survey line, and it is both clockwise rotation or anti-clockwise rotation. It means that it wants to say that we can take it from the clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction according to the given condition. We will in the example we will discuss, and we will come to know that how it is taken in the clockwise direction and when it is taken in the anti-clockwise direction. And now the final point is that is that range. So range is between 0 degree to 90 degree. It is less than 90 degree, and it is 0 degree to 90 degree. So I think you might have understood the quadrantal bearing and the whole circle bearing. Now we will distinguish between the both. Friends, now we shall differentiate or distinguish between the whole circle bearing and the quadrantal bearing. So the very simple point, the first point is that it is whole circle bearing is also called azimuthal system, and quadrantal bearing is also called the reduced bearing system. I think there is no point in understanding that point, first point. So next point is that it is taken always from the north direction. Very simple, that we always take whole circle bearing from the north direction. Whether it is 30 degree, 90 degree or 180 degree, it will be taken from the north direction always. But if we talk about quadrantal bearing, then it is taken from the north or south direction according to the condition, as we will discuss in examples, and we will come to know and understand that point. So next point is that it is between the reference meridian north and the survey line. Here the main point here is to understand is that it is the north, that the reference meridian is north, but in the quadrantal bearing it is between the survey line and the north or south. The reference meridian may be north or may be south according to the condition of the given question. And the next is it is the horizontal angle. The minute difference you can see, guys, in whole circle bearing it is horizontal angle, but in the quadrantal bearing it is acute horizontal angle. Understood? So next point is, and the whole circle bearing is in clockwise rotation, but it can be clockwise or anti-clockwise. And the range of the whole circle bearing is 0 to 360 degree, but as the quadrantal bearing is acute horizontal angle, so its range is from 0 degree to 90 degree. It is less than 90 degree and greater than 0 degree or equal to 0 degree. So I think you have understood the difference between the whole circle bearing and the quadrantal bearing. It may be asked in your mid-sem paper. Certainly it may be asked. So I think you should understand the difference between these two, whole circle bearing and the quadrantal bearing, clearly, and I have made you understand. Let's now learn the conversion of whole circle bearing to quadrantal bearing and vice versa. It means that here हम लोग समझेंगे कि whole circle bearing को क्वाड्रेंटल बियरिंग में कैसे कन्वर्ट करते हैं और क्वाड्रेंटल बियरिंग को हम लोग कैसे होल सर्कल बियरिंग में कन्वर्ट करेंगे. दिस इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स फॉर टुडे टू लर्न. द मेन पॉइंट here today in the today's lecture will be this conversion of whole circle bearing to quadrantal bearing and vice versa. So now by example we will start learning. So it is the north south, it is the reference line taken, and it is the east direction and it is the best direction. So I have already discussed that whole circle bearing is from 0 degree to 360 degree and taken always from the north direction. So I have taken a 240 degree of whole circle bearing, that comes in the third quadrant, and it is your survey line and it is that north reference line. So from 0 degree to it is 240 degree and it is your whole circle bearing. So from this given data, how we will calculate the value of quadrantal bearing. So we have discussed that quadrantal bearing is an acute horizontal angle and it can be taken from south or the north direction, never mind. So it is acute angle, we know that. So acute angle will be what? Quadrantal. Now we are calculating the quadrantal bearing. So whole circle bearing is your 240 degree. So here acute angle we find is that this very angle is your acute angle. So if we subtract 240 degree, it means that if we subtract total whole circle bearing, it will subtract 180 degree from whole circle bearing, then we will get the 60 degree. So it is an acute angle and it is from south direction to west direction. Now I think you might have understood that it is from south, that quadrantal bearing is also taken from south direction. So it is taken from south direction and goes to 60 degree between the survey line and the south direction. I think you might have understood this question very well. Once again I will make you understand that it is the angle between, first of all we will discuss whole circle bearing, that is given 240 degree. So there is no problem in understanding that it is taken from the north direction and it is between the north direction and the survey line. So it is 240 degree, it is the north direction and it is your survey line. So got it? Now we will discuss how we will calculate the quadrantal bearing from this given data. So the quadrantal bearing is the horizontal angle and it is between south north to the survey line. So the whole circle bearing is 240 degree. Let's come to the example number 2. In this example, the whole circle bearing is given 179 degree. So we will draw this, that it is the north direction and it is the survey line, and between these two the angle is 179 degree. So from this given data, we will come to calculate quadrantal bearing of the given system. So how will we calculate? We will calculate. Once again, I would like to remind you all that the quadrantal bearing is acute angle and it is between either south north to survey line. So I'm gonna make you understand that this very angle, this is 179 degree. So from the whole 180 degree, if we minus 179 degree, then we will get 1 degree, that is from south to east direction. So here we come to get the quadrantal bearing is equal to south 1 degree to east. So another example number 3. In this, here the quadrantal bearing is given, and from this quadrantal bearing we will calculate the whole circle bearing. So quadrantal bearing is given from north direction to east direction, that is 30 degree. So we should not forget to understand that the for calculation of whole circle bearing we always take the angle from north direction to the survey line. So it is very simple to know that the whole circle bearing is equal to quadrantal bearing. It means that here quadrantal bearing is equal to the whole circle bearing. Simple, because it is taken from the north direction and it is between the survey line. So it is satisfying the condition of whole circle bearing, that it is from north to the survey line. So it is the north direction and it is the survey line. So here we will say that quadrantal bearing, whole circle bearing is 30 degree. It is simple and is also satisfying. It can be any angle, whether it is acute angle or whatever, it can be any angle. Whole circle, there is no restriction in whole circle bearing. So now let's come to discuss the example number 4, and we will know that how we'll calculate whole circle bearing. So in this quadrantal bearing is given from south to east 30 degree. So it is simple, south to east, that is 30 degree, and it is also satisfying the condition of quadrantal bearing, that it is acute angle and it can be from south direction to or north direction. So it is 30 degree. Now how we will calculate? So we know that the whole angle from north to south, it is 180 degree. It is 180 degree, and if we subtract the quadrantal bearing in 180 degree, so we will get the whole circle bearing WCB. We get WCB, that comes to 150 degree, and it is satisfying the condition of whole circle bearing, that it is taken from the north and between the survey line. So it is 150 degree from north direction to the survey line. So we now come to know that whole circle bearing of the given question is 150 degree. So now today we have understood that how to convert whole circle bearing to quadrantal bearing and vice versa. Then that is, I will sum up for today's class, and in the next class we will discuss the rest of the part of the bearing. Thank you friends. Thank you guys.